Happy Saturday morning and welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is gonna be absolutely bonkers. Today I'm gonna give you guys a comprehensive breakdown of the current foreclosure situation and why we don't currently have a foreclosure crisis. And then we're gonna go over factors on what's going on right now that is spelling potential doom for homeowners. And remember guys, it's no mystery. We have a historically low default and foreclosure rate right now. But I'm sounding the alarm because I'm saying these numbers and this data is only temporary. And we're in store for an absolute nightmare just right around the corner. And you guys, I fear that many people right now that are trying to stay ahead of inflation and affordability and prevent foreclosure are just getting in even more consumer debt in an attempt to try to stay afloat. And the problem, guys, is that normally does not work out really well. So that's exactly what we're going to explore today, guys. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor, even if I want to be, though my bio is as a realtor, loan officer, and instructor in real estate in Texas. So I know a little bit about the housing market, but this is my personal YouTube channel. So please, guys, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment below. I would surely appreciate that. But regardless, guys, let's get started on this video now. How we're going to start the video is I'm going to access Black Knight's updated default and foreclosure report. So that is finally out, guys. That came out actually a couple days ago. And then I'm also going to access some Fred charts just to show you how much debt American households and Americans are in right now. You guys, insanely alarming how much debt, consumer credit card debt that America is in right now. But the name of the Black Knight article, and it will be referenced in my description so that you guys can access this data on your own. But the name of the article is Black Knight's First Look at October 2022 Mortgage Data. So here's a few bullet points that Black Knight is pointing out as far as defaults and foreclosure. So starting at the second bullet point, the national delinquency rate actually rose month over month 4.5% in October to 2.91%. This is up 12 basis points since September, driven by a sharp 9.4% raise in 30-day delinquencies. So we're going to figure out, why this massive increase in delinquencies. And I think what we're going to find out is a large part of that was because of Hurricane Ian. And this goes on. Florida led the jump in new early delinquencies, with the state delinquency rate rising 53 basis points to 3.42%, giving an initial indication of Hurricane Ian's impact. So a lot of people are actually behind on their mortgage, guys, that were impacted from Hurricane Ian, and that is starting to be reflected in the numbers. Loans 60 days past due ticked up 2.9% nationally, while those 90 or more days delinquent saw continued, if modest, improvement, inching down another 1.5% in October. October's 19.6 thousand foreclosure starts represented a 7% increase that partially revised September's decline, but are still 55% below pre-pandemic levels. Foreclosure starts, and here's what's important. Foreclosure starts were initiated on 4% of the existing serious delinquencies in October. Now, this is especially important, guys, because this is the group of people that are in the most danger. And this is the group of people that I've been constantly highlighting because we have more people in serious delinquency right now than we did right before the Great Recession. So, this is showing the 4% that actually went from serious delinquencies to starting the foreclosure process. And there's a reason that it's only 4% that I'll get into later on in the video. Active foreclosure inventory held steady as volumes remained subdued in 2022 due to still historical low foreclosure start levels. So again, you guys, what I want to point out is just because a lot of these numbers are historically low does not mean there's not a problem. The reason why these numbers are historically low is for the first time in like forever, the whole country banned foreclosures, right? It should be historically low. That should be no surprise. Plus, on top of that, loan modification is absolutely crushing it right now. Loan modification appears to be working and working well. But also, guys, we had essentially a 40%, roughly, it's not 40, but we had almost a 40% increase on a national average in just 2 years in home equity. So people could just sell their house if they're in a hardship, right? So again, what I'm saying is just because this information is historically low does not mean we're not in serious trouble. All right, so here's the updated chart right here, guys. And what I want to point out is, what good things are up and what good things are down. So I'm really kind of taking out, monthly prepayment rate, which is here, guys. And I'm only looking at basically 8 sets of data. And I'm going to go over the 8 sets of data before we really kind of go over why they're color coordinated. But as you can see, the first row here is total delinquencies. Okay. So are people falling behind or not? So we can see that that's actually up 4.45% month over month to a delinquency rate of 2.91%. So we're going to want to keep our eyes on this. And this is going to go up. I already know it's going to go up. It's only a matter of time before the dust settles, guys, and the whole smoke and mirrors thing ends. But after that, we have foreclosure pre-sale inventory, which is also up 0.42% month over month. Then we have total foreclosure starts. That's up 6.52%. Obviously, year over year, 390% because foreclosure bans in 2021. Now, next is foreclosure sales. Foreclosure sales are down month over month, 1.47%. So of the 4 things, the 4 data sets that I'm looking at here, you guys, 3 of the 4 data sets got worse. So delinquencies got worse, foreclosure inventory is higher, and foreclosure starts is higher, but foreclosure sales are down slightly. Now, looking at these numbers down here, the first row represents the total number of properties that are 30 days or more past due. So you can see right now, but are not in foreclosure. Okay, so this does not include people in foreclosure. So right now, we have 1.55 million households that are currently behind on their mortgage. Pretty wild. Now, this is the number, guys, that I'm really looking at, and this is down 7,000 month over month. So that had a small decline, and it may be a result of the people that moved out of here and went into foreclosure starts. So this decline may just represent people going into foreclosure, right? But it is what it is, you guys. Now, the total number of properties in foreclosure is 186,000. That's up 1,000 month over month. Number of properties that are 30 or more past due plus in foreclosure is up 66,000 units for 1.74 million households that are either behind or currently in the foreclosure process. So in other words, guys, 1.7 million is a lot of people, but historically, you guys, here's the crazy thing. Historically, that's actually not that much. So I just do want to point out, of the 8 data sets that I'm looking at, okay, of the 8, 6 of them are worse, which definitely means that there are signs that the foreclosure problem is getting worse. Let's take a look at the states now. Now, as you guys can see, some of the usual suspects here, top 5 states with non-current percentages. Obviously, number 1 is Mississippi, followed by Louisiana, Oklahoma, Alabama, and West Virginia. The bottom 5 states, you guys, is probably a lot of West Coast states here, pretty much all West Coast states. I'm wondering if it's because of additional state bans on foreclosure, but I don't know. I don't think so. But number 1 is Colorado, followed by Oregon, California, Idaho, and Washington. Washington being the lowest of all states. Now, the top 5 states with 90 days plus delinquencies, Mississippi again, Louisiana, Alabama, Oklahoma, and adding into the mix, Arkansas. But take a look at this, guys, because more than likely Florida may start becoming part of that list because of the hurricane. Now, this represents right here, this map represents basically the counties that were affected in the last hurricane. Now, the ones in green right here are the, essentially the biggest impacted that were in the path of the hurricane. So you guys can see Naples, Fort Myers, Punta Gorda, and Sarasota are basically the heaviest hit. But also you can see inland here, like around Lakeland, little bits of Orlando, a little bit in Daytona Beach. All of this, you guys, has been wrecked. So again, we're starting to finally see this data right here from the hurricane start impacting defaults. So a little bit I want to read here. 26 counties in Florida were designated disaster areas with federal assistance available. So that's 2.5 million mortgaged home in these counties, which represents a $500 billion balance. So $500 billion worth of loans is at risk, which represents 60% of all mortgaged homes in the state. So essentially, you guys, 60% of the homeowners or mortgage holders rather are actually potentially at risk. I found that especially astonishing that there's 2.5 million homes in Florida that got impacted by this hurricane, as you can see here. Now what I want to do is I want to go into a couple of the reasons why I'm saying that the foreclosure crisis will get substantially worse. Okay, so there's no guessing here. The foreclosure crisis is going to get worse. And here's one of the primary reasons why. Things are so unaffordable right now, guys. This is the affordability chart right here for home ownership. This is the payment to income ratio. Okay, so the blue line right here is what we're looking at, the payment to income ratio. You can see right now we're at, essentially an affordability rate or payment to income ratio of 38.9%. It has skyrocketed almost straight up since about 2020. But again, you guys, what's really concerning is things are more unaffordable now as far as home ownership than they have been since the 1980s. So as the unaffordability continues to wreak havoc in America, in our economy, for homeowners, they will obviously become more and more behind on their mortgage, which is going to lead to more short sales and is going to lead to even more foreclosures. But that's not all. We also have Americans that are drowning right now in consumer debt. So here's the Fed economic data: consumer loans, credit cards, or other revolving plans. Okay, so like credit cards, right? So as you guys can see here, since the stimulus money stopped, right? Since the stimulus money stopped right here, Americans have just jumping in debt. I mean, this is a skyrocketing debt or a consumer credit card debt problem. We have never, guys, we have never been in so much consumer debt in our history. And this right here is a 10-year map. Let's max this out just to take a look. So this goes to about 2000. And as you guys can see, I mean, this is a huge incline upward of consumer debt. And what I believe that we're seeing here is people getting in even more consumer debt just to stay afloat, just to stay ahead. And again, you guys, that's not going to end well. This is a lot of money in debt that people are in debt right here. And consumer debt is almost as worse as mob debt. It is absolutely horrible debt, and people are drowning in it right now. So now the question is, what states and what metro areas are gonna get in even worse shape in the months to come? So I'm gonna go over that information with you guys right now, just so that we can keep an eye on specific metro areas, just to see, is the foreclosure crisis going to start there? Where's the foreclosure crisis going to start? And I have some ideas on that I want to show you guys right now. Now, this is according to Black Knight. Now, here's the change in median home price. So one of the factors that I believe is going to contribute to an even bigger foreclosure crisis are how much home value goes down and traps people in their properties. So here's a list that Black Knight made, you guys. So look at, so San Jose is number one on the list. And here's the thing with San Jose. San Jose is one of the metro areas that I would say is under a crash right now, because they have gone down over 16% from peak, but this is only saying 13%. So I believe, guys, that we're going to see a foreclosure wave start in San Jose and start in San Francisco. So number two is at San Francisco. These are massive drops in value. So it's saying San Francisco has dropped 12%, followed by Seattle. And this is what Dave Ramsey said: oh, Seattle's in the worst shape. Seattle's in the worst shape because of crime, because of this, because of that. That's wrong. Now, number four, San Diego, you guys. So San Diego is actually number four on this list at 8.2%, followed by Phoenix at 7.6%, Sacramento, Denver, Los Angeles. Here's Austin, Las Vegas, Portland, Riverside, Raleigh, Nashville, Minneapolis, Salt Lake, Washington, and Boston. So these are the metro areas that we really want to keep our eyes on, because again, these are metro areas that are trapping homeowners in their homes at the fastest rates. But not only that, guys, I also think the most unaffordable metro areas are also going to be some of the biggest at risk. And you can see some of these metros are actually matching the last list we went over. So starting with number one, the most unaffordable market is Los Angeles at 76.6% payment to income ratio. Insane. And I was born in Los Angeles, West Covina, guys. I can definitely testify. California is it's just shockingly expensive. It's just shocking. Now, the number two, San Diego. Now, that was on the last list of decline, as was San Jose at number three, followed by San Francisco. Las Vegas was on there. Miami, I think, is going to start to see a lot of crumbling. But time will tell, followed by New York. Riverside's on the list. Seattle, there's Seattle again, and Sacramento. Now, in conclusion, I believe the foreclosure crisis is going to get so far out of hand that it will be a primary topic of conversation, along with the housing market, during the 2024 presidential campaign. And I absolutely hate talking about politics, guys, but unfortunately, they have a great bearing on the housing market. Now, further, I suspect to see, in lieu of many foreclosures, I suspect to see a surge of short sales, predominantly coming from first-time investors. But that's not to say that we're not going to have an incoming foreclosure crisis. I suspect the signs that we will see are going to start with short sales. And a short sale is essentially where the owner gets permission from the lender to sell their house at a lower price than what they actually owe on the property. So, potentially you guys can find several deals for properties that actually can sell for less than what they owe. But I will warn you guys, that process of short sale is an absolute nightmare. Okay, it's an absolute nightmare because you still have to get the approval of the lender for the offer that you submit. So it's really, really an unpleasant situation, but nevertheless, short sales are some of the ways to get the best bang for your buck. Now, other than that, guys, I really appreciate you following along this journey with me. I hope you guys got some value, insights, and perspective from today's video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck and I hope you win.